Yeah, I'll do the intro. You guys ready?
Yeah, just don't forget anyone's names during the intro. Pro tip.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Milsurp World, your podcast about military surplus. Today we have Danny, Michael, and Jared joining us. I didn't forget their names, Danny. And we're going to talk today about YouTubers.
Yeah, GunTubers,
Yeah,
as they're called.
that's a terrible name, but anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Well, we have
a few.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I want to say we have a new person here today.
Oh yeah.
And before we get into our topic, let's talk about our new person. Behind his back, obviously.
Oh yeah, I forget. It's been a while since we've had a new person on. I forgot we have the questions that we ask the new people.
So, Michael, how did you get into military surplus collecting, and when?
Well, I got into military surplus collecting when I was probably 18 years old, and I think my brother bought me my first classic $99 Mosin Nagant. I think it was a 43 production Isevsk. And from there, I think it just started the passion when I was 18. And so for the past 10 or so years, it's just been an ongoing passion from there. And now I'm up to, I think, over 80 classic steel and wood rifles and pistols hanging on my wall right behind me. So it's pretty much probably one of my biggest passions going forward. A lot of people spend money on nice things, vacations, but I spend most of my money on either my wife or my Milsurp collection. So that's where it started with a classic Mosin Nagant, and now I'm actually receiving something tomorrow in the mail. Hopefully it gets here from UPS.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty similar. That's Milsurp is where most of my disposable income goes. I guess it's been easier not to spend it on vacations this last year and a half.
Yeah, that definitely helped.
I think we started with exactly the same rifle the same year. That's kind of cool.
Probably the same exact rifle. Let's be honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
and
yeah.
I did not.
Yeah,
I had a
the
weird
9130 is the gateway drug.
I had a weird start, Danny.
What was that?
1895 Chilean Mauser.
Okay, so South American, all that good stuff.
It was a weird start, considering I had no interest in Milsurps before.
Yeah. I never really got into the South American stuff. I don't think I own a single South American rifle.
Missing out. Top quality.
Yeah, big
I
time.
don't think so, honestly.
Top quality. But Michael and I are special in this chat.
Oh, how are we special, Aaron? Please tell me.
I'm sorry.
I already know.
Michael, do you own something that nobody else in this chat owns besides myself?
Besides yourself, yes. I have
it's rare. It might be the most rare.
Don't throw that word
of all.
around, Danny.
That's exactly why I'm overusing it.
It's rare unless you have money, and then it's not so much.
But yeah, good old Winchester Lee 1895. But mine does have the front sight hood. So
God dang it!
And
still got the hole in the bottom of the magazine.
A little bit more bluing, less pitting, so I think I'll take the top spot here.
Was yours older than mine too?
I think it's like 1,000 more in front of yours.
Yeah.
I think mine's in like the 15,000 serial range.
Yeah, yours was like, because I think the 15,000 is when they started the next production run.
Yeah, it was the first few hundred of the second contract.
Mine's like in the 16,000s.
Yeah, so mine's right before yours, pretty much. And I think you said yours was what, December 1898?
No, July 1898, according to Cody. Cody Arms.
Mine's probably like January then, so give or take.
Yeah, I think it was July 9th is what they told me. They actually had the exact day.
Gotcha. Yeah, I reached out to Cody and they were like, "Yep, you got to pay for this," and I was like, "Oh, dang it."
Really? The dude on Reddit just gave it to me.
Yeah, must be nice.
It's amazing that it's 1,000 in production, but it's 6 months in time.
Yeah, I mean, the Navy and the Marine Corps contracts weren't as huge as the Krag Jorgensen or the Army in general, so they were only outfitting so many. There's only 30,000 Winchester Lee Navies on the contract, or on the two contracts altogether, and 10,000 of those were civilian rifles.
But even the production value, like they made 1,000 in 6 months. That's really low production volume.
I mean, they could have been
I think-
making the civilian ones at that time too.
True.
Yeah, it was a mix of civilian as well as just a complicated receiver compared to what they've been producing with the Krag and everything. Yes, the Krag is still complicated, but nothing as a straight pull as complicated as that with a floating extractor and some weird stuff in there too.
Danny thought he broke the extractor.
It just popped out.
No, it was when you open the bolt. It's this there. It just moves.
Yeah, it was dangling.
To be fair, I just thought it was broke. Not that I broke it. I just think I opened the bolt. Well, first off, I think the bolt was locked. I was like, oh boy, what's going on?
Yeah, because you can't open the bolt again. Yeah, without firing it or the bolt release.
Yeah, definitely a weird system, and I can see why it was way ahead of its time, but I can see why it didn't really last at that point.
I firmly believe the ammunition is to blame.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Ammunition. Usually, I mean, during this time, as you saw, like with Winchester ammunition, all that stuff, a couple years later, like ammunition was the biggest shortfall for a lot of rifles and pistols.
So you think if it was in 30-40, it'd still be the...
I don't know, with a rimmed cartridge versus semi-rimmed, I don't know. So
Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs. I mean, what if they could have nailed down the powder or not fucked it up to the point where they were like overcharging them? You know, who knows? There's a lot of what ifs, but I just think that the idea behind it was solid. The execution, because of the time period, was lacking.
But I will say this, you need to find a front sight hood because it's probably my favorite sight picture out of all my rifles that I have. That sight hood makes a huge difference.
Don't think I've been looking? It's not one of those things that just pops up a lot.
If only
Yeah.
someone spent every waking moment at a gun show.
Like Danny.
I'm going to like...
I was about to say, you going to one tomorrow, Danny?
Yeah, there's actually 2 or 3
You
that are
going to
all within,
Tulsa?
like in Kansas City. Yeah, no, in November.
So let's
Yeah,
say you going to
planning on
Tulsa? I knew it.
Yeah,
I
we
knew
got
it.
our hotel room booked, so we're doing it.
Damn.
With a baby.
Yeah, my wife is pretty cool. She's
I'm gonna
bringing
tell
the kid
you,
along.
it's always
Yeah, I wish I could get out to that
It's
show,
a
those
rough-
shows out there.
rough doing trips with kids, but it'll be a learning experience for sure.
Yeah,
Luckily, during COVID and everything, it wasn't really a huge impact here in Virginia when it came to shows. We still had a lot of shows, but some were canceled, and then they had like the limitations of time slots you had to go in there. But I mean, during COVID, I still went to probably 5 or 6 shows for that year and made out with a couple of deals. So,
Well, Michael, what would you say is your favorite piece in your collection?
favorite piece is, I would probably say, looking at my wall right now, probably either my Winchester contract, Russian contract 1895, or my Johnson rifle. Those probably are my 2 favorites.
I've handled Danny's Johnson. It's weird.
Oh yeah, just by looking,
it's kind of thick
It's
in
got
the
weird
hands.
curves. It's yeah.
it's really fat at some points and really skinny at others. Who knows?
Actually,
Yeah,
these
I would say
I'd probably
it
say
looks
those are
like
my
something
favorite.
that like it shouldn't exist. Like, how did this actually get made?
I love it. I love my Johnson.
Have you shot yours?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think last time I took
Yeah.
it out was in Christmas time, and did a couple rapid fires with it.
I got my Johnson from Dan Lopez, is another Patreon guy, and he shot it quite a bit, and he swears up and down that it's way better than the M1. Which I'm a pretty big I'm not a big M1 fan. I respect the M1 for what it is, but
Wasn't that your
I've
first
yet to shoot
rifle?
them both and compare it. Yeah, the M1 was my first. Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, but I do, after handling both and shooting both, I feel like the Johnson is better in my opinion. And it has some pros and cons to it that I believe outweigh the Grand's pros and cons. So
Yeah.
but
Like
it's something we'll never know.
But you're
The only-
you're never going to convince the brass of the time period because they all want to have bayonets. They all want to have certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was just Melvin Johnson was just too late to the game, to where
Yeah, it was just too late.
The Grand was adopted in 36, and Johnson didn't adopt this or make it till 40, 41. By then,
Yeah.
the Grand was already accepted. The military, the DoD, pretty much just gave him a kind of a courtesy test trial to see if it would do anything, and just they decided to stay with what they knew.
Yeah, he even made a full stock version, but yeah, unfortunately, just too late, man. Like it was just too late for the Dutch too.
Oh yeah, Dutch, Paramarines, all that stuff. So.
Now the only thing that like when I'm just thinking about it, like comparing the two, would just be reload speed. Would be like the main detriment, I think, of the Johnson.
Well,
Yeah,
what about
you just got to get used to it, is all. But I agree.
what about reloads in low light or night? Because in M1 you can just kind of bang it in there. But what about, because you don't have stripper clips, but loading like a stripper clips at night is hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we both done reenactments at night, and loading, putting a stripper clip and a little stripper clip guide in a pitch black is a lot harder than it sounds, especially like when like there's like shooting and stuff going on all around you.
Yeah, that's
especially
why
on the side mount of the Johnson too. It's just not normal compared to like an 03 or any other gun of the day. A side mounted stripper clip guide is weird.
Yeah, man, that'd be a neat like if someone did a comparison video, they'd have to like do like a night segment of the video where they compare like reloading or handling at night for
Especially
speed and
when you
stuff.
think about history in the Pacific and everything. A lot of this stuff did take place at night, so would have been a true test.
Yeah.
Danny furiously writing down these notes.
Yeah, I would,
dude. I'm
I would
taking
watch
mental
that.
notes.
That would be interesting.
So eventually, we're gonna sell. We're gonna move in the country. We're gonna sell our house in the city. We're gonna move to the country. I'm gonna try to get some land where I can shoot on, and hopefully, I'll be able to shoot at night and do stuff like that pretty soon. Because right now, it's hard living in the city to find to get a private range. The only places I can shoot at are like at least an hour away.
Yeah, the goal for me is to move out and get some good land to shoot on, because in Virginia it's just so crowded that the further I have to drive about 2 hours to get to like some usable land, that just gun ranges in general that go past 100 yards. It's just so crowded where I'm at right now that I haven't shot in probably over 2 years here in the area.
Yeah, I should have. I took for granted like this has been the hardest of my whole life, like actually to shoot living here, because when I lived in Florida, I lived out in the country and I could go in my backyard and shoot. And then living in like Utah, that was really easy. Just BLM lands everywhere. But
yeah, back when I was in Florida too, because I was born and raised there as well. I mean, I wasn't in the sticks or anything, but I could drive 30 minutes and go to a good 200-300 yard range and pay $20 for the whole day. So, but definitely miss that.
Yeah, soon. I gotta do some more shooting videos. Plus, I have the big controllable. I forgot the new name, but I'm the controllable carbine showdown video where I'm going to shoot all the 6.5 and 7mm carbines.
That'll be good.
Still have that planned. I got to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited for that one.
You got the ammo.
Yep. Jared graciously reloaded me a bunch of the less common stuff, like the 6.5 Dutch or 6.5, I guess Romanian, whatever you want to call it. It's not super common. Luckily, when I bought my Dutch carbine, it came with the dies. It came with a box of German 6.5 ammo and the dies.
Nice dies, not cheap dies. Nice dies.
Yeah, with those guns, you pretty much have to buy the dies with it because you ain't going to get anything else. So lucky you on that one.
That was when I lived in Washington, man. Washington State hookup, dude. I think about the gun shows in Washington sometimes. Like this is just incredible. I don't know why. Just every single one. Yeah,
my brother's out in California right now. And as much as it sucks to be there, he's like, yeah, the gun shows are actually pretty awesome here. And the ranges are pretty cool too.
Oh, that's cool. I almost went to a gun show outside of LA one time when I was working in Sedalia, but somebody warned me not to go, so I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, he sent me some of the things that he's seen, just like texting and all that stuff, and he's shown me a lot of cool stuff that is in the area and just stuff you normally don't see across the country just because it's in California. So it's usually only California residents who have the option to buy it or in that area.
That's cool. I guess one perk.
Probably the only perk, yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Weather. I'd probably say the weather. That's about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, weather. I guess we can get into the... Huh?
I was a quick question to you, actually, Danny, because we know Aaron's answer. What is your favorite Milsurp rifle that you have? I don't know if you ever said that.
Do you?
I don't know if I have one, man.
Yours is Lee Navy.
No, it isn't.
Is it?
Are you
all
serious
right
now?
It better be.
I assumed, so maybe I shouldn't have. So Maybe a fair
Talks about
question to the group. Be like, what, you're on top. What is yours, Aaron? And then what is Danny's? I know mine. So
You tell me yours while I think of mine.
me?
Yeah.
G41, hands down.
Oh shit. I'm
I
gonna
love
sound
it.
like a copycat, but I was looking at it on my wall and I'm like, that might be.
It's my favorite. G41 or G43.
I was just looking behind my wall, and that was the G41 was a close third for me, or a close second, but probably in a third spot for me.
Yeah, can't get enough. Love it. Bang system. I've shot it. It works every time. It outshot a new M1A, which pissed the owner off. Like it was fantastic. So
It's just so damn heavy, though.
it is.
Oh
It is
heavy
a
in the
hunk of
worst
wood.
place.
Yeah.
It's like the
Fall
exact
forward.
opposite of the Johnson. Yeah, all the weight's forward on the 41. So it feels even heavier than it actually is, like holding it. It's the worst. Like I wouldn't want to. I thought about taking it to a reenactment, especially the one I had before this one was a little bit more of like a shooter grade. And I thought about taking it to a reenactment, but now I think I'll just take I have a G43. I think I'd rather take just for the weight.
Yeah.
And Aaron, do we ask what yours is?
Yeah. I don't think you guys are gonna guess it.
I don't, one of your M95s.
No, actually.
Is it the Vigero?
No, it's
Vigero, I
not
was
the
gonna
Vigero.
say that. Dang it.
It's actually my first gun, the Chilean.
Oh, the Chilean.
Oh, I love it. I love Chilean 1895s. I love 7mm Mauser. It is probably in terms of the most I've shot of my guns. Chilean is first. M95 is probably second. But I love the Chilean more than anything.
But you got a full auto M95. How can you not put that number one?
Full semi-auto.
Oh, sorry. I'll correct myself.
Fully bolt action.
Yeah.
Fully bolt action.
Slam fire M95.
O-matic.
I'm surprised no one asked you for your stamp after that shot.
That range is actually pretty cool. I've broken quite a few of their targets, and they don't get pissed at me.
Because you can never hit the bullseye with your M95s. Is that why?
The metal plates don't last to the military surplus ammunition.
Aaron, have you seen my 1895 versus M96 video?
I don't think so.
You should give it a gander sometime.
Oh wait, I think I have. Where you're breaking down the differences.
Yeah, I don't know if I get into like the mechanics enough. I have like a other video where I show the mechanical differences a little bit more, but it's more just like a shooting and handling type of dealio.
Well, see, I've never shot any 6.5 Swede,
Dang, man.
so I don't have the comparison.
Oh, okay.
But
Ooh.
a 7mm for me is probably my favorite in terms of shooting calibers.
So hopefully the next time you come and visit, if I have some land, I'm gonna just let you shoot all the Swedes and everything. I'm gonna just try to make you fall in love with them because they're something.
I don't need another caliber.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. I got about 30, so.
I counted. I have to do 41.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all my ammo cans right now, and I can see probably 25 or 30 different calibers.
Yeah.
But some of that stuff, I mean, I'm not going to shoot. I'll shoot maybe a magazine a year, and that's about it. So 50 rounds will go pretty far.
Didn't mean to sidetrack us, but
We did it all
No,
the
it's
time.
okay. That was a good one. No. So our actual topic today is the GunTubers. I'm trying to find the points. Oh, here we go. All right. So the first thing to talk about, I guess, with this is like our favorites, like our favorite GunTuber channels to recommend. So I guess I could start this out because I was just watching his like recent video today, and I always find myself going like, ooh, like I want to watch it, like 9-hole reviews.
oh yeah,
That was on my list too, yep.
very cool play.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, he did his video on PDWs today, and it was like neat because he pulled in Milsurps into it, and with newer guns, and so it's a little bit more like of a, like an intellectual discussion of like roles and intended purpose of different designs, and it's pretty neat. And then they have a really good production value in their videos, and they seem like cool guys, so I always enjoy those.
Yeah, his more recent videos, he started getting into like actual discussion versus just the straight shooting. So I enjoyed that piece too, where he sits down and talks about specifics, like in the Type 99 Arasaka one he does. He talks specifically about anti-aircraft sights and how the sights work and everything. So
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one with the Type 99. Yeah, I liked his feedback on the sights and how they were more combat-y than like target precision type aperture sights. Like my least favorite types of videos to watch are people like sitting down or like laying down shooting. Kind of like the IV 808s. Like a lot of their videos with Milsurps are they're sitting and they're shooting at a target, and a lot of times they're being like real easy, not just them, but like other YouTubers, like with like smaller channels and stuff. Like if they're reloaders, you could tell they're being like real dainty with the cartridges because they're trying to catch them. So they're not like working the bolt fast to really get a good feel of the action and like what the potential of that rifle is. They're just kind of shooting for accuracy, and I'm not like it's got its place, like if I'm like curious on what a particular gun's capable of, I want to see it, but usually it's not like what I want to watch like for fun. Like I liked Alex at TFB, his running gun style. I'd much rather watch somebody like standing up and like really running a bolt action instead of just seeing somebody like sit down and shooting for accuracy. Like it's got the accuracy thing's got its place, of course, but as far as like watching a whole video and it's the only type of shooting in the whole video,
It is interesting to see how some of that stuff goes, just because I don't have the ability or the land to do it. So there are times where it's interesting, but it's only interesting for 5 minutes. It's not interesting for 20 to me.
yeah, I would say probably going back to 9-hole reviews, he probably does it right compared to everybody else.
Yeah, and in different ranges where he starts close and he moves on out, like his whole setup is very cool, very well done.
Yeah, I think he has the standard for something like that, and not a lot of people can really replicate.
I think he is. I think he's made the standard. Like he is the standard now for that type of shooting.
Yeah,
and he's great because he does a lot of fast forwarding in his edits. Because like he knows you don't care, so he zips through a lot of it and just goes through the shooting, which is perfect.
All right, what's next on the list?
Michael,
well, what are your guys? Some of your guys' favorites?
Yeah, Michael, you say. Well, we'll just go through the list. Michael's next on the row, and then we'll do Jared, and then I'll say one.
I'll probably say RTI and Classic Firearms. I don't know if you guys heard of them. Those are probably my favorites when it comes to reviews. Obviously, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'd probably go with other than the classics here in Arsenal, Forgotten Weapons that I'll go through every once in a while and keep up to date on. I really like the smaller ones. I know like Battlefield Curator, he's doing some good stuff early on. Yeah. He's not quite up there yet, but he's probably sitting in a good spot right now, and he's doing a lot of the stuff that's currently on the market, which I think is pretty good for the newer collectors, I think. So yeah, probably Battlefield Curator right now. He's doing some good stuff when it comes to just the new stuff on the market, and his videos they get to the point of what you need to know, and I think he helps a lot of people out who are new.
No, before we move on to Jared, though, you mentioned Forgotten Weapons. What's everybody's favorite style of video that Ian does? Because I particularly only really watch one of his types of videos, and I'm wondering about you guys.
I'm not a huge fan of his like modern stuff, like his finished stuff or his 80s and modern stuff. I'm just more like, hey, give me a classic video of you talking for 10 minutes about a rare rifle from World War II and prior. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I kind of do the same. I do like the stuff he does collab with the Chieftain, where they get into some armor and stuff like that too. I enjoy that.
Oh yeah, I did see that one. Yeah.
What about you, Danny? Did we lose Danny? Oh, there he is.
Yeah. I said other than 9-hole reviews.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We were saying what type of videos do you like that Ian makes?
Oh, he doesn't make them anymore. That's my favorite types.
What was that?
He started them like 5 years ago, something like that. And that was his running guns or the 2-gun action challenge match with Milsurps. He started.
He still does the pistol ones.
Yeah, he does the pistols. I've seen a few. He did one of the Rothsteyr M1907.
Yeah.
Within the last year. That one was fun to watch. So.
Yeah, that one was good. I'm getting more into pistols now, but I'm more interested in rifles and in seeing what rifles can do.
Yeah. Okay.
And his early footage, like right before him and Carl got together within range, Ian was doing a lot of taking bolt actions to the 2-gun match, and that was really interesting. And then they started pairing up, and it was like they had this perfect synergy, and they would go they would both be running them, and they kind of encouraged each other, and that was really cool. I think we had maybe a good year of them doing those matches with the bolt actions, and I thought it was amazing. I think it's a pretty good data point once you start getting so many Ian, not to bash on Enfields, but Ian brought 4 different Lee Enfields out there in the desert and shot them all, and he had problems with all of them. All 4 of them didn't have a perfect run with no jams.
Damn rim lock.
Well, yeah, it was a lot of rim lock. One of his SMLEs, the bolt face or whatever popped over the rail it's not supposed to. So just he got he just stopped in the middle of his run because the gun died. But yeah, 4 different ones I think, and they've all jammed or something like that. And even Carl, one time they did a head-to-head sort of thing, and Carl brought a Gewehr 88, and the Gewehr 88 just was flawless and just worked. Not a fantastic gun, the system, but it just worked. Did its job. Didn't have any malfunctions, and it outperformed the SMLE, which is on paper that shouldn't happen. I think I'd rather have an SMLE than a Gewehr 88, but when you take it to a range and you shoot it that many times, that's what I like. And another point too, when you shoot you set up a match and you shoot a bolt action, maybe if you're planning on shooting it 30-40 times, something like that, right? When you're shooting it 30-40 times, you have that many reloads with 5-round clips. You get really far away from the internal magazine capacity being that big of a difference. So then you start to see really what the rifle is outside of just the extra 5 rounds in the infield magazine, which in a long match I don't think it's that big of a thing. Usually in videos that try to show how much better a 10-round magazine is over. Usually, if you notice, it's a very it's a short range where they don't shoot, but maybe 10 to 20 rounds, something like that. And in 10 to 20 rounds, a 10-round magazine is an advantage. That extra 5 is an advantage, especially within the first 10. But outside of that, I think you start seeing a bigger advantage with others. So
yeah, I feel like once
that's
you
a
get the
little
group,
digression, but I think you.
And once again, Danny has to bash on the Lee Enfields, and we'll get a bunch of comments on the channel.
Those guys are respectful. The Mosin guys, I think, are the most.
Yeah, they ones that tend to knee jerk more than Mosins.
Yeah, the infield guys are yeah, okay, that's cool. I infield guys are pretty cool about taking the criticism. They know what they got. They know the limitations typically, but finish Mosin guys.
Oh God, no! You better not talk about Finnish Mosins, man. They'll bring out. What's his face?
I love my Finns.
That's something I never got into was Finnish Mosins or just Finnish in general.
It's a deep hole.
Yeah, I think the only thing that
we're gonna let that go. All right, we're gonna let that go.
But I think the only thing Finnish I have really is I have a New England Westinghouse Mosin that's Finnish marked, and then a
garbage
Carcano M38 that's the short rifle that's in 7.35. That one's Finnish marked because that's what they did. I think those are my only 2.
I just bought one from Danny.
The only Mosin I want is the one Danny has.
Which one is that?
Oh, I just bought that.
I'm gonna mess you up, Jared.
Crickets would sound like AC/DC right there. No, I bought a different one. I bought a different one.
You didn't buy it because he wouldn't sell it to me. He won't sell it to nobody. He wants it for a hole in his World War I collection.
Yeah. No, I bought a B-barrel one off.
And it's a twofer, man. It's a capture gun. I love capture guns. And then it's a Imperial Russian World War
It's
One
a Imperial
filler.
Russian, Michael, and it's captured by Austria-Hungary, but it doesn't have any. It doesn't have any other marks on it. It never went to Finland.
It's not
Okay.
finished.
Yeah, I
It's not
remember.
finished.
I remember you talking about that one.
The one that I convinced him to buy over the German capture one that was Finnish.
Yeah, the guy had a German one, and I was gonna buy that one, and he sold the German one, and that's when I was like, oh dang, you're like okay, and then he's like, well, I'll make it up to you, I'll sell you this one here, it's it's JSE marked, like oh okay, I was more like okay, and then Aaron was like buy it, like oh okay.
I've
More
never
like-
seen
more
one
like
that's
one of
not
those.
Finnish marked. Almost all those Russian captures that you see from World War One end up in Finland.
Yeah, which like honestly to me, it's a little cooler if it was finished. Like it wouldn't bother me if it was finished stamped as well.
It's more lineage.
It's just more lineage. Like wow, it was like in Russia, and then it went to Austro-Hungary, and then who knows where, and then it went to Finland and the United States. But now it's just like who the f knows where it went after after World War One ended and Austro-Hungary was no longer a thing.
So it doesn't bother me because I like M95s and there's just no fucking way to know where anything went.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I'm not a big fan of the ones that had a lot of travel. Like, I prefer something that stayed in its own country the whole time. Like, I just picked up a M91, a Peter the Great M91 that has no finish, no other capture markings or anything. So it's still an original Imperial configuration. So that's something I've been looking for a while. And yeah, I don't really have a desire to see like capture guns or have them fit in my collection for that. I just prefer them to stay in their original like country per se.
See, I think it was Ian that had I think it was a Luger. It was Imperial, Weimar, Nazi, East or West German marked. That's awesome. Like, that's cool.
I can get behind something like that.
Yeah.
The one that I did remember seeing that was cool that I saw was a guy, I think it was on our Facebook, Danny, that he had a Gewehr 98 that was reworked into a K98 and then ended up as a Israeli 7.62 gun.
It's a lineage.
Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah.
I think it was a 1916 or 17 Gewehr 98, and then it was reworked into a K98K, and then sold to Israel.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Like yeah, I wouldn't mind if my
that'd be
G98 to K98K was one of those. I've been thinking about mine. I want you guys to know what my theory about my theory here for my Gewehr 98 to K98K, if you don't mind.
Go on. I'm interested.
So I've been thinking about it, and when I was doing some research on my the Spanish 1895 carbines, I was just doing some reading on other Spanish guns. And I didn't realize Spain got so many like World War I German Mausers, and because I know they got a lot of Polish Mausers, but those were typically scrubbed. But the German guns that they got were not scrubbed. And I was thinking about it. Poland got a bunch of of German Mausers, or maybe another country got a bunch of German Mausers as reparations or just captured in the war or whatever, and they gave them to Spain, to the Spanish, to one side or the other to fight. So I thought maybe my gun was one of those. It went to Spain at one point and fought in the Civil War, but mine has the triangle Z that it was actually in Polish inventory. And I was just trying to figure out, but the rear sight is it's got the S/42 G, I think, or K, for whatever one's 1935. So I was trying to think how it has a 1935 dated rear sight on it, but it is also Polish marked because that was before the Germans invaded Poland. So my only thought is maybe Spain, maybe somewhere, maybe it went to Poland and then went to Spain, and then like Germans in Spain like got it and brought it back to Germany. So it's something like that. Because it's still like Danzig. It's still Danzig marked, but like the German Mausers didn't get scrubbed. Because I don't think people like the countries that donated guns, they didn't care about scrubbing those. Anyway, I just have a feeling Spain is somehow involved in this gun's history, maybe. Because other than that, I don't understand like why the rear sight on it would be such an early rear sight if it was captured after the German invasion of Poland. Because that's 4 years in between when the rear sight was made and when the gun would have been captured, and maybe 5 years, between when it was actually refurbed. So like, why?
Yeah, it's definitely weird how that part got mixed in there. So
Yeah, and it's matching. Like all the parts match on it. So like I think it was like a legit German like rebuild. I don't know. Just a thought. It's one of those guns I'm trying to figure out. But I like that. Like I have some like pure K98Ks that just don't have like anything other than like the wartime. But it's the weird capture ones. It's got all the markings and all the history behind it that I think about and that I think are pretty cool. I only have like a handful of capture guns like that, and I think they're pretty neat.
Yeah.
I had a Yugo capture K98, but it still had the original markings on it. It wasn't scrubbed yet, so I think it was an earlier capture. One of my best shooters actually, but I sold it probably earlier this year. I sold it to help fund something else.
You know what I've seen?
Yeah, I had a similar Balkan one.
Danny, you know what I've seen before? And I think I might have showed it to you. Somebody on a different Discord sent me a Craigslist listing of a guy in Washington, and he had an M95, and he didn't know what it was, but it was actually an original Bulgarian contract M95, and for those that don't know, they have a special crest on the top of the receiver, which is the only M95 that has one. That was captured by Yugoslavia and converted to an M95M.
Ah.
So it still had the Bulgarian lion on it, and it had
That's pretty uncommon.
it had M95M underneath it. I'm like, that's the only thing it's the only one I've ever seen. And it had the clip, and it had the extractor, and I was like, this is a beautiful piece.
Oh man!
But it was like, it was in Washington, and the guy was like, I'm not selling this overstate.
There's not much difference selling out of state or in state when you live in Washington. I mean, you got to do a 4473 every time. Yeah.
So
that stinks,
weird.
Man.
Like that's like one of those ones is like, oh man, that's been everywhere, all over the Balkans. Anyway, what was our topic? Oh, guns channels that we liked. I think it was on me, or was it Jared?
No, me. It was me.
Jared.
Not
Milsurp World.
There's a channel called Not Milsurp World.
Yeah. Ever since you were on it, it went downhill.
Oh, I just had to mess with you.
Milsurp World content's been lacking a lot lately, so been disappointed.
Serious. Rob, British muzzleloaders. I enjoy the hell out of that guy. Like I like the fighting in kit and going through drills, and I just everything he does. I think it's awesome. And he makes he used to show like how he made the ammo when you could like that was just anything about it was cool. He's the reason that I bought my Snyder and my Martini was because of him, and I love them. And he's a cool dude.
Yeah, I don't think
I haven't seen him much.
Other than I think CN Arsenal, maybe you'll be hard pressed to find another YouTuber or GunTuber that puts as much effort into his videos as Rob does with his videos. I mean, even the shortest one or whatever, like with the cloning effect, that he does, where it's like a bunch of them. Like, you can watch, a minute long segment, of that. But I've done it. I've tried it a lot, and it's hard. Like that took a long time to film and to choreograph and everything. And I'm like, having done it, I think I can like when I watch him, I'm like, dang, like I can't believe just for a little like silly part in the beginning, he spent so much time just to up the quality and add a little like humor and stuff to it. His stuff is really up there. And then he's on top of all the work he puts into it, because there's some people that put a lot of work into it, and it's kind of iffy. Yeah, it's very good, very informative,
and he really like deep dives into. He plays bugles, the proper bugle thing in the background. You can hear in his videos. You can hear background of people shooting, like there's combat around him. It's everything he does is cool to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I really he's one of those reenactors that he's accurate down to the buttons.
Yeah. And I always laugh when he does Private Mackenzie, the incompetent private, and everyone's yelling at him.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I don't know. It just makes me laugh.
I've
And
always
he
heard of
seems. Go ahead.
I've always heard of him, but I never got into him or anything. But I think just to build my British repertoire in general and knowledge base, should probably start watching him a little bit more. I think after hearing this.
Yeah, I cannot recommend him enough. If I was to recommend one person, it would be him.
Yeah, and he's a good dude. He's been on the podcast before, and we chatted for a long time before and after the podcast. And he's genuinely a good guy. So yeah, I'd recommend it for sure. He'll make you buy an Enfield.
Yeah,
or two.
yeah. I said he's the reason I have a Snyder and a martini.
Cough,
Like,
not me. Cough.
I don't know. Well, I enjoy the hell out of it at least.
I don't have an Enfield anymore.
What Enfield did you have?
I had a number 4, Mark 1.
Oh, yeah. Number 4 Mark 1, especially the star, is kind of the meh to me
It
of all of them.
It was a star, and it was also an A code, which means it was built with non-standard parts.
Yeah, I think I'll only buy a number 4 Mark 1 if I ever find one for a good deal, and those deals are getting few and far between right now, especially for Enfield. So
It's kind of a checkmark gun. I need that.
Yeah.
Now I have it. Okay, moving on. Yeah.
yeah, I have my number 3 that I have, and I like that one. But number 4, I just never really got into it. And then if I find one for a deal, I'll pick it up. But nowadays, for some reason, the last year or two, Enfield's exploded. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was really surprised. Because it used to be number 4s are real cheap. I swear for like 10 years, they were real cheap, like under 500. And yeah, number 4s went up. SMLE shot up quite a bit, especially Lithgos shot up. Yeah, I was happy.
would be like 500 at the most, very most, for a number 4, and those are very few and far between.
Yeah. I think I bought my Lithgo like 12 years ago or something. I paid $300 for it, something like that. Shoot, I'm becoming one of those old guys.
Back in my day,
We'll see you at your next
Yeah.
booth.
where you have everything lined up and nothing's for sale.
I thought about it. I thought about being one of those guys.
Just for a day, see what people say.
Yeah, just put a for sale sign. Man,
That'd be good April Fools.
yeah, I went to a gun show this past weekend, like on the Saturday the 11th, and there's a guy there, and he was showing me he's at every show in this area, like every single show religiously. I've never been to a show, I don't think, in this area, and him not have a table, and he always gets a table at the front by the front door, and he has plenty of money. He's like a retiree with plenty of money, and he buys up all the good deals that walk into the show. And I don't think he has an FFL too, and he usually puts them on his table with a little markup after he buys them. But he was showing me some of the deals that he bought, and little not Milsurpy, but he bought an HK 91 for like $1,000, and he was showing me
Actual HK91.
yeah, he showed me. Yeah. Oh, and on the receiver it had an extra 1 carved into it after, so it was an HK 911. Because I don't know if this is true, I didn't research it, but who said, oh, they did that because they were sitting in customs waiting to get imported during the ban or something, and they put an extra 1 on them so they could get in. Said something like that. Yeah, but he was like, yeah, he bought that and another gun together for like $2,000, like a Galil in the 91 for $2,000, and then he pulls out a G43 like parts gun that he bought for $800. It's just like, oh dang, cool.
Man.
Here's all the good deals are on this table right here that you got, sir. So he's like
at a recent gun show I went to, something really pissed me off when I was there. I literally saw it in front of my face. Was a vendor walk over to another vendor, buy his 6.5 Carcano PPU ammo for $20 a box, and then bring it right to his table and put $35 on the price tag right away. I watched it in front of my face.
Yeah, that happens a lot, man. Like a whole lot. Before
it was in the middle of the show.
Yeah, well, yeah, it happens a lot before shows, but I've done that. Like I've set up, at a lot of shows and sold stuff, and I mean, just 6 months ago or so, the last show that I set up, I pulled out this like box of like Milsurp 30-06 that I got, and I paid like hardly anything for it. I got it at a show in Washington. Some guy was like giving it away, and a vendor came up to me and he just started, making me offers on everything, and I started accepting it, and he put it right over on his table, and twice as much as he paid for it.
Dang.
Buying it straight from me. So yeah, it does happen, and I see it all over the place. So if you want the deals, setting up and getting a table is a really good way of getting the deals, other than just getting there early.
I think I'll just set up my own. I'll just get a table, put nothing on there except for maybe one thing, and then just search the deals before the show.
Put a sign up that says like want to buy, old military guns, something like a little colorful sign or whatever. Maybe put just a couple attention getters on your table, just shoot,
Cough,
hang out,
Johnson,
shoot the shit.
Cough.
But then they bring all the South American, like Chilean stuff, and I'm like, get out of my way.
Yeah. It's worth money, man. They're good stuff.
I'm surprised why you're not into South American stuff. Like, I get it. I was there before, but what's holding you back?
I don't know. I think it's just the classic, like, it wasn't really in a war or anything.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it probably was.
It was, yes, but not the wars that I'm interested in per se. And I think, I don't know, just the whole region down there. I don't really have. I think it's more just export Mausers. I never really got into export Mausers in general, so I think it just falls. It's like an umbrella kind of thing.
That's also a very deep hole, very deep dark hole. Yeah,
couldn't tell you why. It's just they never appealed to me, and I think it's just because it wasn't initially when I first started collecting. It wasn't European or Pacific, or American, so I wasn't interested.
I can kind of tell you how I got into it and the way I looked at it. Instead of just looking at it like it's an export gun or like almost like a commercial sort of thing, like if you want to trace the Mauser like history or the early Mauser lineage of like their development and all the improvements that goes through the guns, you can't do that without getting the contract guns. Yeah,
I could definitely see that, especially going through my books and everything.
Yeah. So then you have to get in through, because I mean, really, there's the contracts that, I mean, all the guns that Mauser sold are contracts. They did a contract to the German government, or a contract to another to Sweden, but they've made some for Sweden.
Yeah.
Mauser contracted with everybody, including their own their own government, but if you want some of the early lineage and you want to know like what was going on at the time and the improvements that Sweden and Spain put forward, to mechanically improve the design, you have to get the early export guns like that.
Well, that's why I got your video.
Get you an Argentine 91 to get the early one if like a Belgian's too much, and then the Chilean 95, because it's kind of that in between the 93 and the 94 sort of, weirdly enough. And then it's you just kind of get them to fill the niche that way, and then later on, then there's the
listen to me, is he?
The just before World War II Mauser models that if the German government maybe wouldn't so thinking of logistics or whatever, they would have adopted, like the Mauser model 1933 or the Mauser 1935, I think are excellent. The 1935, people have heard me harp about the Chilean and Brazilian 1935, but that's just a fantastic model to me. Like, I think that is like about as perfect as a bolt action rifle can get, really, like the Brazilian 1935.
Yeah. I think I'll just rely on your videos from now on.
Objectively looking at one that way, it's just kind of.
And it's in what caliber, Danny? Danny, you just got real quiet there.
I don't know. Did we lose him?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Might have blown his mind.
Yeah. The wheels are spinning.
I couldn't hear you guys for a second. What was it?
I asked, what caliber is that Brazilian 1935 in?
Oh, in God's own caliber.
That's right, 7x57.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 45 ACP.
45, yep. Yeah, 7. I'm a big fan of 7. I think in a shorter rifle like a 1935, I think in 6.5 it would be a little nicer of a shooter, but I do really like and respect 7mm. So
it's the best caliber that Mauser ever created.
Yeah,
and that's a technicality. On a technicality, everybody agrees with me, because he didn't make 8mm and he didn't make 6.5.
Yeah, that's why I said all 3 of them.
I mean, I do like 43 Mauser a lot, if you counted that one.
No. I mean, yes, that is a Mauser caliber. Yes. Yeah, it's 7.65, 7 millimeter, 10 point, whatever the 11, whatever 43 Mauser, whatever the frick it is, 11.43, 11.44. What is it?
I thought it was 10 by like
Is it 10?
10.78.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's like
know.
I don't know.
It's a
It's
weird
43
decimal
Mauser.
number.
Yeah, it's 43 Mauser. It's awesome.
11 by 60. I just googled it. Is this the right thing?
Yeah, 11 by 60, 43 Mauser.
Yeah, maybe it is 11.
Yeah, all those around that time period were 11. You have 11 millimeter Vernal. You have
It's the same round as 11 millimeter Gras.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Graw.
Use the same bullet.
yeah, everybody was using basically the same thing because it pretty much had reached the pinnacle of what a black powder metallic cartridge could do.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole that I've been tempted, but
Ooh,
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not
Black
gonna let
powder
myself
metallic
go down
cartridges.
the big boy black
Mm.
powders. Yeah,
Come to the dark side.
I am interested because I have one, and I'm
Come
like,
to the dark side.
I think
will
I'll stay away from that.
I will teach you the ways of the dark side.
the only one that I would do is Aaron's. I would do an 1886 Monlicker because I have a bunch of 11 millimeter Vernal already.
what about a
Is that stuff you
Vernal?
bought from the blue Jeep?
Yeah, what
Just
about
get a
Vernal?
Vernal.
Yeah, I mean, if I could shoot the same ammo out of it, because I know there's some that's like a different.
Those are the
Isn't there
early
like-
ones. Those
Isn't there
are
like
the
three?
There's 4.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. See.
So there's the early versions have a long rifle version and a carbine version, and then you have the updates, and the updated version has a new caliber for both the rifle and the carbine.
You're not talking me into it right now.
Well, the long rifle
I mean,
version,
if I
almost all of the guns have been updated, so almost all of them will be the same Vernal caliber as the M86. So
Okay.
unless you find an unupdated Vernal, which is actually pretty rare if I remember correctly.
if I found a Vernal at a good price, I would buy it in a heartbeat. That's for sure.
And then he would get bored of it and he would sell it to me.
They're so funky.
Probably.
They're so funky. I like them. I've actually gotten to hold one in person. It's one of the few ones I've gotten to see in person. It's really cool.
Wasn't that your biggest regret, not buying?
Yeah, actually, it is probably my biggest regret of not buying. I just didn't have the money.
That sucks, man.
So cool looking. Oh, I guess it's my turn?
It is.
Well, you guys have kind of picked all of the stuff that I was going to say. So I've got something that's not really gun related, but it is Milsurp related.
Okay.
And that's Steve.
Oh yeah.
Steve.
Nice.
Steve
Nice.
1989.
Okay. Yeah.
I've never
I
heard
went
of
to
it.
a Steve.
Steve
I went to
1989. You've never heard of him? Oh my
No.
gosh.
I have not.
Oh, you need to
Ermagerd.
go down the rabbit hole now. He eats MREs from like all the way down to like the World War One stuff. He eats them.
But he's like a cool guy that you'd want to like hang out and have a beer with after you
Yes.
had an MRE with him, kind of thing. Like he seems like a cool guy too. But I think he has like the best format for like eating MREs. Nice up close
such a
showing it.
niche,
And he
such
does.
a niche thing. But yeah,
Yeah, I know. He's got like how many millions of subs? Like just
I'm
from
looking at his
because
thing.
he eats old food.
He's got
That's crazy.
1.85 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
I've eaten
And
plenty of MREs in my lifetime, but not that quite old. So I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to relive some of the stuff. But I mean, the World War One stuff that would be very interesting. Yeah.
I think he ate hardtack from the Civil War too. I think
Yeah,
that
I'm
was
pretty
the-
sure he's eaten hardtack before.
He like shows us. He'll pay like $1,000 or something for
Yeah.
like a whatever. That's like here's an unopened blah 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 from so and so war. It's 120 years old. Let's crack it open. Ooh,
Let's see
nice
what it
hit.
looks like.
And then and then he'll eat it. And it's. I think he was. I heard one of his videos. He was talking about it, and I think he said that I don't think he's gotten sick from a lot of the old food that he ate, but he got really sick from a modern Chinese MRE. He's like, because I saw him do another Chinese MRE, and he's like, I'm not eating this because I got deathly ill eating the last one, so I'm just not even eating this.
Conspiracy theories here going on.
Yeah, he's gotten all kinds of stuff though. Like he gets all kinds of different countries MREs that they're not
Yeah.
supposed to really sell, but he's got like a network.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of them are supposed to be for sale. but
Yeah.
they are.
Like
Technically, no.
5 months ago, he got a 2020 Colombian MRE. Like, how the hell did you get that?
From Colombians.
I've had a few foreign MREs when I worked with a lot of other militaries, French, Australian, New Zealand, Italian. I've had their stuff, and their stuff's pretty interesting.
He likes
What
the
was your
Australian.
favorite? What was your favorite foreign one?
Probably the Italian because they still put wine in there. So a little bit of red wine never hurts. That, and I'd probably say the Australian one was pretty good as well. They had a lot of I don't know, they just put a lot of good stuff, like some hearty stuff in there, like some good soups and crackers and cookies and all
candy.
that. So, yeah, their candy's pretty good.
I'm thinking about buying a Canadian IMP.
Probably-
Not
probably
really,
Italian one.
not really gun related, but still
It is
Milsurp
Milsurp.
related.
It's
And
related. Some
he's got a great channel. I really recommend anybody to check out. Steve 1989 MRE info, I think is it. Yeah.
Well, I think MRE info. I don't know if that's his website or if that's just one he's on.
I
but he
think it
mentions it
is.
every time.
But the YouTube channel is Steve 1989 MRE info, and he's really good. Full recommend from me.
Cool. So did we get everybody?
Yep.
I think that closes it out for that one. Yeah.
Cool. All right. The next one is this is just sort of I guess more of a gripe. It's about the lack of Milsurp content out there on the interwebs. I think we're talking a bit about with Ian, and I think a little bit with Carl. I think they've both kind of gotten away from Milsurp, or they just don't do it as much. They do a lot of like newer production stuff.
I think a lot of it has to do with like it's already been done and there's not new things coming out for it per se. So they transition to newer models of what's currently coming out.
Gotta have content.
I think because I mean you can look up M1 Grand everywhere and there's millions of videos on there. Even for a lot of obscure stuff, there's a lot of videos out there as of now, due to like Forgotten Weapons, Sea and Arsenal, and a few others. But there's just not new current information coming out with it, except for another couple more years from now. So I think they're transitioning to newer content, aka newer like 80s and more modern nowadays is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, like TFB too. Like with Alex, they used to do quite a bit of Milsurp. So it's Alex, and then they had Bloke. They had Bloke on the range on there quite a bit to do that kind of Milsurp niche, but not anymore. I think it's all new stuff now.
That's the one I was going to say was TFB because I did the same thing. I like watching the running guns and stuff. They just quit doing it, and I unsubscribed.
Yeah, when Alex left TFB, that was like I think he might have been one of like the big maybe like 3 Milsurp guys. Maybe it was Iraq Vet and Forgotten Weapons.
If we're gonna say one that's gone now, what's the fake Russian guy? FPS Russia.
FPS, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was trying to remember his name.
Yeah, he did Milsurp stuff too, though.
Yeah, every now and then. Only if it was like a machine gun and flashy enough to get.
But that was still like he's one of the few videos you could find of a PPSH, and he's just going ham with it.
I think that Guns of the World does that stuff.
They do, yeah, they do, but they're just short videos, real quick, and there's no backstory. It's just straight shooting.
It's all like they do really well, like viewership wise and subs and stuff. But yeah, it's all POV. It's no talking. It's just shooting. All the videos start off the same.
A lot of it feeds off of pop culture too, like video games and movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Like that's a channel for people who like you don't know anything about guns, but they used it in a video game, and so they want to see it like in real life.
I've seen some of his videos, and it was like all the guns used in Call of Duty World at War or World War II or something like that, and it's just a 5-minute video of random stuff from it. So a lot of clickbait.
I have one more that we haven't mentioned that I just remembered. Hickok.
Oh yeah.
Classic. Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, Hickok, right?
I've not subscribed to him, but I just remembered him.
Yeah, he did
I haven't seen any of his more recent stuff, but yeah, he did a lot of good Milsurp stuff back in the day.
His though, a lot of his stuff though, I've noticed, he wasn't as informed as somebody like Ian or obviously Othais with his in-depth research. So a lot of the times he's like quoting Wikipedia. So it's a little
What?
bit like, the info is not that great. But he does actually shoot everything too, and he's actually like hands-on.
And he's got that
Yeah.
like good old boy feel and just back in the backyard, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're shooting with your grandpa, sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, yeah, I remember you. Let's shoot this gun. And yeah, he's got the cool target set up, and I mean that's the best part. Like I would always fast forward the part where you'd start talking about the guns, because yeah, it's just kind of like the Wikipedia part. Like there's no real, info coming out of it.
He does have a good range setup.
Oh yeah, I liked his woods walk shooting videos. Those are pretty fun.
I remember that one.
I'll refrain from saying the one, Danny.
Thank you.
I think
we
we all
don't-
know.
shall not
So
be
we don't
named.
get into a fight.
Yeah, no, I just don't want to give him any publicity. You know what I mean?
It's fair.
Should we give a quick backstory though?
No, we're not going to explain it because I don't want to get
Oh,
into another
man.
fight.
Bloke stuff's good though.
Oh, I'm actually not talking about bloke.
I know.
You know, that was a
I'm aware.
subject change.
I was moving on.
No,
Yeah.
bloke stuff's okay. I don't have too much of a problem with bloke stuff. He's got, he does have a lot of bias, and he doesn't like to admit it, but he does.
He
But
does.
Everybody does. Danny won't admit that he has a Mauser bias.
He does. The chap stuff though, like especially the older stuff
I mean,
is
I
really
literally
cool.
wear.
Go ahead.
You
Sure,
cut
sure.
out, Danny.
Oh,
He cut out.
Oh yeah, I don't know if my internet is crapping out or something.
your internet pigeon.
Yeah, I mean, I literally have a
Internet.
shirt that has a big Mauser logo on it during my like videos. So I'm pretty forward with my like Mauser bias out there. But I think
nice
most
shirts.
people would sort of like agree just subjectively.
Yeah, I think pretty biased towards that.
A decent.
But it's only
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm like a fan, but it's only because like it just I think objectively it could be the best. You know what I mean? Like there's some guns like modern guns that I'm like I'm not like a fanboy or whatever. Like say like an AR-15. Like I think probably the AR-15 might be like the best like fighting rifle kind of thing. But like
That's
I'm not
wrong.
an
It's
AR-15
obviously a
fanboy.
Daewoo. Obviously, it's a Daewoo.
Oh, you know what? I saw a Daewoo like 15 years ago that I should have bought. It was like $700 or something.
Oh, Danny.
I know. I was like, what is this weird gun? Oh, it's Korean. I don't want. Yeah. That's what I was like back then. But yeah, now I wish I did. But that's the way I am. Like, so with like an AR-15 or whatever, like I don't care. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not going to defend. I just think it's like the best one. So that'll be the one that I own, and I don't care. Like it's kind of the same thing with a Glock. But I guess it's a little more so with Mauser. Like I think it might be the best bolt action potentially. Which is why I would really like to. You want to skip ahead to your suggestion here?
Me? Yeah, sure.
Segue right into it.
Yeah.
Which is your content you want to see
Yeah.
on the
what is
YouTube.
not out there that you'd like to see?
I want to see more of what there used to be, which is like the run and gun, 2-gun action challenge, but not even like 2-gun, just 1-gun. I want to see like just people running bolt actions in stages designed for it. Like a mock World War I or World War II battlefield, running bolt actions. Put these guns head to head, and if you do it enough, like if you run enough stages with enough people. With that, a bunch of guys with, like half guys with K90Ks and half with Enfields, or, half Mausers and half Mosins or whatever. You do that enough, I think you'll collect enough data that eventually you'll be able to, make a pretty good conclusion of like, this is how many malfunctions, this is how, fast or slow it is to load or whatever. And that's what I would like to do. It's what I want to do, and it's what I want to see.
I want to add to that because it's along the same lines as something that I would want, but in kit with the gear, because it's all well and good if you got a modern combat vest and you're pulling stripper clips out of your Molly jacket, but if you're pulling stripper clips out of a belt that they belong in, that adds to it, like what Rob does, just on different with different equipment.
Danny, we can't hear you.
It was my
Yeah,
voice
exactly.
going through his thing.
Oh, damn.
I think that would be the ideal on top of the having a bunch of guys with K98s and all that. Like have a bunch of guys with K98s and gear and belts and see how it works.
I think the thing that I would want to see more, and this is a plug towards Danny, is bring back the torture test of like mud torture and good stuff like that.
Oh,
You know,
God,
man.
you made so many people angry, Danny.
I know. I get a lot of bashing for that. As the only thing, you get a lot of internet abuse. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fairly legit. If the test is kind of straightforward or whatever, like I think it's a fairly legit test. Like, let's see what it's like when it's really dirty. But
if we're going along the same lines of hey, run and gun with stripper clips out of a vest and everything, like you're gonna get muddy, you're gonna get dirty in the process. So I mean, you can always test that too.
yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, in range kind of took a lot of the steam out of that for me because they did a lot of Milsurps. You know, they torture tested a their infield that they did. I think it was an Indian 7.62 gun, if I remember correctly, whatever that model is.
It was a 2A1. That's what they did.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was a. Okay. Which to me is like it's not exactly the same. So like it's not it's not a great comparison. It's like an orange to lemon comparison. But and then they did a K98K. So like those are kind of the guns I'd want to do already. And I hate to just copy exactly what End Range has done, but.
The ones you have,
and the cleaning sucks. Oh my god, those last 3 that I did. No, I didn't do the Gewehr 41 because the one that I owned it didn't have a dust cover. My new one does, but it's too nice. It's too nice to mud test. But I did my G43.
Oh, that's the one that pissed off Reddit. I remember now.
I'm not really on Reddit enough. I should have.
Oh, I know. I posted it there. I posted
a
GIF. I posted a GIF of it being fired while it was covered in mud, and everybody got really mad.
Yeah, it's so funny. People think mud melts steel. I don't get it.
I think it's more like the wood, if anything. But even then, yeah, that can still be cleaned off if you don't leave it on there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like these guns didn't get dirty or wet or rained on or muddy like during the war.
I think
so.
Maybe if you go into the what's it called? The neutral powers. I think if you go into that'd be kind of interesting. Like Swiss rifles, Swedish rifles.
Yeah, I've never seen a K31 stress tested, and I'd like to see one because I don't think it would pass.
I'll bet it would do worse than the 11s because it has all the stuff up front.
Oh, see now that's sir. It's a good call. So yeah, do 1911 and then a K31. Then you can really get a good comparison of front locking lugs versus rear locking lugs because all the people that defend rear locking lugs and guns like Moss 36 all say like, well, it'll do a little bit better against muck and guck getting into the gun.
Well, I think we're onto something here.
Yeah, the 11s, all the locking mechanism, everything is sealed in the back, so it would never really get muddy other than what you jammed forward when you shoved it back home.
Huh. And then I'd have to do a mud test of Moss 36. Can I borrow your Moss 36, Jared?
But you have one. You bought one, and I know you have one.
Yeah, but I'd rather do yours.
Yeah, I'd rather mess up yours.
Yeah, let's screw up the perfect one in order to get rid, to save the 1941. Yeah. See, this is the problem.
He'll give it back muddy without cleaning it.
You should do that Berthier I got you too, Danny.
Oh yeah.
That's not rear.
I started to talk about the three but I did the G43, the SVT40, and the Jungmann.
Oh yeah, the Jungmann and the SVT40 were still pissed too.
Yeah, but like a dozen people were pissed about the Jungmann. Like nobody really cares about that one.
The SVT40 though, people were mad.
Yeah, everyone was just saying like, "Oh, the gun's crap. That's why it failed. Look, it jammed at the beginning." And it's like, okay, well maybe
I love
maybe
that
was the gun.
As long as you get the gas setting right on your SVT, you're good.
Did you see at the very beginning? It was like one of those 1 in a million things where I just went to chamber a round, and the first round went straight up out of the gun like a live round. That's just one of those weird things. I've never had a gun do that before, and it's that's one of those cool things. Like, I'm glad I was, recording that day when that happened. But because that happened, I think most people think it just invalidated the test because there's obviously something is wrong with my gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta worry about the gas. Yeah, the gas system or the gas setting with those.
I have just like the G43 like shooter's kit. I have a shooter's kit in my SVT40, so it works pretty well as long as I have it on the right gas setting. So
yeah, but so when I mud tested all three and I rinsed them all off with a water hose and took them home and like detail stripped all three of them like on my living room floor. Like, my wife helped too, and we just scrubbed all the parts to get all the sand and gunk out of it because the mud turns back into sand by then when it dried off, and it was just it took so effing long, man, to clean those three guns.
Out of curiosity, which was the easiest one to clean up though?
Oh,
because that's actually that's part of it.
That would have been a good question to ask 2 years ago, Danny.
Yeah, Gomer
trying to
slip and
remember.
fell. Which Gomer is the best Gomer? Like,
I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't say. I don't. Maybe just me thinking. Maybe the Jungmann was the easiest because it's the gas system is simple.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
I just know that you complained about every single time you had to do it.
Yeah. That's the crappy part, man. Is the cleaning up afterwards.
Things you don't see.
Yeah, a friend of mine in Florida let me mud test his Scar 17. I did that. Some of my very first YouTube video that's no longer public, so you can't find it, was me torture testing or mud testing pistols. I got into my very first pistols were HK USPs, and so I mud tested. I just went in my backyard with a handheld camera and just dunked it in a bucket of mud and shot it. And those are my it's just so terrible. That's why it's off. I don't want anybody to know my beginnings because it's really
That'll be a
awful.
special treat. You should let everybody see that one day for a special treat.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll post it on the Discord so everybody can see. Yeah, uploaded June 22nd, 2009.
Ooh, baby.
It's got 88,000 views. Has it right now, but it got them all really quick. I remember it made the rounds in all the forums back then. I did that. A P30.
Look at what this idiot kid's doing.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, I don't think it was so oh my gosh, with commercial guns and newer tactical guns, people don't freak out you're destroying it so much. You're destroying history. Yeah, it's more of you're dumb and you're gonna blow up and whatever. But God, so awful. June, 2009. Guess I've been
going back to the original thing when I brought up the torture test and everything. I think another thing would be cool to see would be more ballistics tests, ballistics gel and everything for these older rounds, because typically you see just regular paper targets of getting shot at, but actual ballistics tests you don't really see that much anymore for old Milsurps.
Most of the old Milsurp stuff is FMJ though.
It is, but I mean, 8mm or 8x56R is a lot different than 8mm Mauser and so on and so forth. Just the small variance between the calibers. 6.5 Jap between 6.5 Swede, 6.5 Dutch, all that stuff. How same round size, but they could do something different in ballistics gel. I think that would be something interesting to see. Or you could be absolutely right. It's just FMJ. Who knows?
I was not trying to pick a fight there because I agree with you. It would be cool, but I feel like a lot of it is just FMJ, so it probably would act similar. Put it that way.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It would act similar, but I think it'd just be cool to see the disparaging parts between the different, per se 6.5. There's so many different calibers of 6.5 in general that I think it'd be kind of cool to see the differences. I mean, they could very well act exactly the same, but you'll never know until you know.
Yeah, maybe they would all act very similarly, at a ballistics block that's 10 meters away or something like that. But if you really wanted to get into the difference between the benefits of an 8mm or a 7mm over a 6mm or 6.5, would be like some type of like penetration test. I could see that
Yeah.
kind of being a thing.
Like a
it would
pig
be,
To see like,
carcass.
okay, what's really the advantage of an
You
8
gotta get a
millimeter
pig carcass,
caliber
Danny.
over a 6.5 or a 7? Let's punch through some steel or
Oh,
some
a pig.
wooden blocks or
You
whatever.
listening to me? You get a pig carcass from a butcher.
they're
I
expensive.
think you need a sight hood first before a pig carcass. I think that's why he's not listening.
But it would be interesting to see the difference in something like that between like light ball and heavy ball.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like 7.62 and 54R and everything.
Hell, I was
Why
thinking
that comes out of play.
8 mil light Romanian versus 196 German.
Yep, that's another good one. Yeah, Russian's just the first thing that came to my mind because you see it so much with all the spam cans and everything. But yeah, Romanian, German for 8 millimeter. Yeah,
Something I wish there was more of, there used to be, is more reloading, caliber specific reloading.
And YouTube's
Yeah.
I think
did it.
you're just cracking down on that. So I think it's just hard to do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, even thinking about like doing the mud tests, I know all of those would get demonetized. Like I wouldn't even make back like the money on the ammo that I shot during the video.
There was a channel years ago. It was Gunnut 357 Mag, and that's where I learned to do reloading. Was from him, because he would do like, we're going to load 6.5 Swede, and I'm loading this. Load whatever is good to your gun. Here we go, and he would just size and seat and do all those things. But he did a bunch of different calibers, and it's how I learned how to do it, and I think that's missing or lacking.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's just YouTube's like
It is.
suppressing that stuff. So
It is.
yeah, but because I mean, all the stuff you will find on stuff like that is like 10, 15 years old.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could watch somebody like do drugs or like grow some type of illegal substance, but you better not reload. Better not
yeah.
Or Danny
do
better
something
not
that's
put
perfectly
pictures
legal.
of pistols from 1930s
constitutionally
on
protected.
Instagram.
Don't do that, sir.
Danny got a picture removed from Instagram today, everybody.
Did he?
Yes.
Today?
Yes. So I guess that's starting. That's a thing. Yeah, it was a picture of the trio of my FN pistols, the 1900, 1910, and 1922. And
okay.
all I put for them was old 7.65 FN pistols, but it was like old 7.65 FN pistols. And the only thing I can think of, so they took it down, but there's an option to like get it reviewed or like to appeal, and I did that, and then they reviewed it and they said, oh, it's fine, so they restored it, and I was like, okay, cool, like yeah, all is good. And then yeah, like the next day, it was just I got another message that it was removed because of illegal, it was prohibited activity or whatever, because I'm trying to sell it. Yeah.
Oh, because of the caliber.
Yeah, I think it was like a big violation across the top.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just the 7.65.
$7.65.
Yeah, selling 3 pistols for $7.65. I'm just quite the yeah. So I was like, cool, I guess that's happening. So I guess maybe I need to be like 7.65 millimeter so that it's, who knows, maybe that means money.
Yeah, that's some dollar signs right there.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's the first one, and then it just happened. So we'll see if Instagram starts taking down more and more stuff. Facebook is being worse and worse now with closing gun groups on Facebook. So
yeah, one of my favorite ones just got closed up the other day, and I was going to post something on there, and then all of a sudden I couldn't pull it up, and it was gone. And then I talked to some other people who were on there, and they said the same thing, that they're trying to do the appeals process for it. So,
what was it?
It was the Milsurp, Military Surplus Collectors of World War I and World War II. Yeah.
The one we like to go and mess with.
Yeah. So that one, I mean, of all the ones that I'm on, I think that one's probably one of my favorite ones because, yes, there is a lot of fun things to mess on, but it's also the most interactive one that I'm on as well.
It was a lot of people.
It was only 25-ish thousand or something like that, I think, was on there, compared to some other ones that have like 40 or 50.
Oh, the Curio Relics one is awful.
Oh, it's awful, but it's fun. I love posting on those.
I'm banned from it.
I probably should be banned by now, but I'm not. But But yeah, that one was taken down. I think they're going through the appeals process for it right now. So it's happening.
Man,
I don't think I've ever gotten a warning for ours.
I've just had stuff demonetized on YouTube. I've never had a strike. Not that I know of, at least. I don't know if they give you, they'd send me an email or something. I don't know. I've always wondered, like, what if one day I wake up and, like, Milsurp World is just taken off YouTube? Like, what would I do?
That's why you have a website.
Yeah. I can't take down, but I can't upload videos because videos are too big and, like, you know.
We gotta get on the dark web.
That's why Pornhub exists, Danny.
I wasn't gonna say.
I think I signed up for BitChute. I don't know if that's a thing or still a thing. There's like some other video alternatives out there that I tried. Yeah, Pornhub would be a last resort, I guess, if I had to.
We did make a joke one time that Danny was gonna make an OnlyFans for April Fools, and it was just gonna be him stripping guns down.
So that's fantastic.
There's a close-up of Danny field stripping something.
With shitty music in the background. Oh, that's fantastic.
Or some ASMR where it's just hearing all the metal clink next to each other, very close-up mics.
Yeah, but sexy with jazz, maybe. Hey, maybe well, no, that they reversed it. I was gonna say if OnlyFans, if they kicked off all of their adult content.
They didn't though. They're like,
yeah,
never mind, we like money.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny. I remember people being like, "Oh my gosh, capitalism's terrible. They're kicking off everybody," and it's like, wait, so they don't want money? Capitalism's bad.
That's not
wait, they do want money, and it's I don't know. Whichever thing is bad, it's capitalism's fault. Remember that.
Damn Reds.
This is nothing but pure old-fashioned communism. That's from a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's from Smokey and the Bandit. You should watch it.
Nah.
Okay, there's one last.
We get all of our points, Danny.
No, there's one last one, which is YouTuber Pet Peeves.
Oh, okay.
YouTuber Pet Peeves. I want to hear what you guys' pet peeves are.
Repeat.
Well, Danny, just in general, I just cannot stand the way he talks.
It's his hair. I'm telling you, it's his hair.
It makes me feel any better. I can't stand my own voice either. I have to edit my videos. I have to listen to myself say the same sentence over and over again for hours. I'm editing a video. So
I think everybody hates the sound of their own voice.
Yeah.
I guarantee we're going to listen back to this one. I'm going to hear myself and be like, wow, I'm an idiot. So,
the thing I can't stand the most is people repeating wrong information just because they heard it.
Yep, that's a good one.
The Japs took all their dust covers off because it rattled. No, they didn't. Just stuff like that. I cannot stand it. I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah, that's a good one. That I try super, super hard to not give out wrong information in my videos. And that's the worst thing. I try, the standard that I hold myself to is not by how much information or whatever is in my videos. It's how much wrong information is in it is the standard that I hold myself to. And if I get one thing wrong, I beat myself up. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. Why did I say that? Sometimes it's just a slip of the tongue, and I'll say something wrong. And I knew it wasn't the right thing, but I said the wrong thing. And I'm like, oh, why did I say that? And I only find out, of course, days later when I'm editing it. I can't refilm.
I think that or just the basic information. This is the 10th video where they just read Wikipedia article over and over again. So it's okay, I've heard this 10 times now in 10 different videos. Let's see or something different.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I think my biggest pet peeve is hearing the cliches, all the different cliches. So we did the one podcast, where we listed all the gun cliches, but whenever you watch a video of this gun, they always say that cliche saying about it. So they do, here's a video on the M1, the M1 rifle, and they have to say Patton's line, and we all know Patton's line.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Or the ping and everything with that, or
they mentioned the ping,
the dust cover rattles, or stopping power for 45, 2 World Wars.
The Jungmann's Garand Thumb. This makes Garand Thumb look like whatever.
I'm watching a video and I hear that like the cliche, I cringe.
I just click off.
Really, and they're usually they're usually in the beginning too. Like it's
Yep.
like an introduction.
Yep.
Like, hello, this is how dumb I am.
Even some of the people that I respect for their knowledge on certain things will say stuff like that. I'm like, nope, can't watch it, can't listen to it again. I can't do it.
Hey, Danny, just off the top of your head, how many rounds fit in an M1 magazine?
That's good. I'm assuming that was rhetorical.
I'm just curious. I think it's not 6.
No, it's 8, you idiot. Holds 8 in the clip.
There was a lot of bad audio there.
Wow, that was great.
You're gonna regret
good
that.
audio of that.
Yep.
That was my impression of an internet boomer typing in all caps.
The best story though out of that video, Danny, is the one guy challenging you, and then you're like, "Okay, go do it on your own gun," and he's like, "I will."
Yeah.
And then he comes back and is like, "You were right." And it was like, "Holy shit, what has happened?"
Yeah. I was like, hats off to you, sir, for coming back and replying that you were wrong. Hats off to you, sir.
Yeah. that at least he did. I mean,
No, that's a
Yeah.
miracle. That's
Yeah.
a miracle of the internet right
Chivalry
there.
is not
Yeah.
dead. Chivalry is not dead. I don't know. Maybe I think clickbait is another pet peeve of mine.
Oh, yeah, Danny's famous for the clickbait.
Yeah.
I've been having to try to be more clickety with thumbnails, have more attractive thumbnails. I'll put it that way, because like I've always just really sucked at thumbnails, and I've just recently like tried to put in a little bit more effort with them, like get a good picture and have like some colors and like a good font. Try to sum everything up so that it looks good, because traditionally my thumbnails have sucked. I'll just like pick a still from the video. Whenever you upload a video to YouTube automatically it gives you an option of like 3 stills from the video, and it's like pick one of these 3 for your thumbnail or upload. And I used to always just click one of the ones that they like, picked for me. Which
some of them are hilarious though. You'll have this really goofy look on your face. You're holding a rifle.
Yeah, that's the thing too with like making like with a video. If you're on video, you could pause it at any point in the middle of a sentence, and you look like an idiot.
It's so true.
I think that's just life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see like with editing, I see like an idiot face, Danny, all like as I'm editing and pausing or whatever, like over and over again.
That's where we get the memes from.
Tumbling. Yeah.
All about the memes.
Yeah, I do love shit posting Milsurp memes on
I do
on
like
Insta.
also shit posting Matthias stuff. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Like Ian doesn't understand. Those are great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those are really funny.
I get a good cackle out of those.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to say my biggest pet peeve is, especially with some of the bigger channels, having old information out there and then not updating it, not taking down the video or redoing it, and just letting that old information that's wrong, that's been discovered recently to be wrong, is just still circulating.
Yeah, they just don't want to lose those views.
And
Yeah.
the ones that fix it, credit to them. Like Matthias fixing they did the reproduction clip for the G88 versus the actual clip for it, and it worked. Like it was cool that he said we will try this again. And when they did the Car 88 and Gewehr 91 video, they're like, "Hey, we got an actual clip. Let's do the old rifle," and it worked. That was cool.
Yeah, that and if you're on their Patreon for CN Arsenal, they released the video like a week earlier now to the Patreons to then kind of like scan through it to see if they hear any mistakes. And then when they release the real video onto YouTube, it's the edited version that has the updates to it or the corrections. So they started doing that recently.
Yeah, that's smart.
So it's like, let's use all the brain power that we have in Patreon to see if we can catch any mistakes before we release it to the public on YouTube.
Yeah. I think that's good because you do lose a lot of momentum having to delete it. And credit to CN Arsenal, they get something wrong in their video, they just delete the whole thing, fix it, and re-upload it, which is phenomenal. A lot of YouTubers don't do that.
Ian fixed his video though, didn't he? After
Oh yeah.
you uploaded on the same day somehow.
hmm Yeah, which is crazy because he does one, or used to do one every day, and then I just do one once a week when I can. And yeah, it just happened to be on the same exact day. We both uploaded a Red 9 video, but I had Mauro Baudino on, and I used the new information out of his book and out of the Paul Mauser archive to give like the new correct information. And I only really did that because when I bought my Red 9, I went down the Prussian contract, rabbit hole on the internet, like reading all the internet FUD lore and whatnot about it. And then when I actually started reading a book like, the Paul Mauser archive and stuff, I was just like, holy crap, like everything on the internet's wrong. Like, how can it be so wrong? And then I watched videos, and the videos were just reciting what they were saying on the forum, which was really wrong. And I was like, wow, I need to really make a good video to address all of these mistakes and to give out the real information. And I'll have the guy that's like the authority on Mauser pistols, that works for the Paul Mauser archive on, and we'll just make the video, like this will be it. And yeah, it just happened to be Ian made his video on the same day, and the first one, he repeated a lot of that internet lore, and which was really surprising to me, that he did. I assumed he maybe, but when you do a video a day, like there's only so much like a human being, can research and do. But
he also corrected it, though, is what we were supposed
he
to
did.
be saying.
Yep. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did that. I think just though because he caught it so soon, because I think people started reaching out to him, like, "Hey, Milsurp World did one, and has the correct information, sort of thing in it." And I think because it was caught on the same day, he recorded a little snippet in it, and he mentioned Milsurp World, and then corrected it. He cut out all of his misinformation, is what he did. I don't think he recorded a whole lot of new stuff. I think he just cut out all the wrong stuff that he said.
It was surprising because I saw that video. I remember messaging you, "Hey man, did you know this happened?" And there was a bunch of comments below that was, "Hey, Danny just did this, and his video is better." It wasn't just one or two. It was 10, 20 comments scrolling down quickly that people were calling it.
Yeah, that was a good day. That was a good day for me.
Didn't you make a looped video of Ian?
Yeah, I remember that one.
20,000 times, yeah.
Oh yeah, yep. Ian says, yeah, check out Milsurp World on YouTube 20,000 times. Celebrate 20,000 subscribers. Yeah, that was good. I got my mileage out of that. Out of Ian saying that.
Going back to your compilation, you did a compilation video of all the failures of the Lee Enfield that Ian had.
Oh yeah,
And you asked him, "Hey, is this okay?" And you sent him a link to the video that was unlisted, and he's like, "Holy shit, I didn't know this happened this much."
Oh yeah. I reached out before I did it. I reached out to Ian and Carl and I asked them both, and Ian thought it was really interesting because he'd never, again, he just puts out so much content. He never seen it all like put back to back like that, and he said he thought it was really interesting. Especially just seeing all the infield malfunctions, because there's so many. If you're listening to this, just Google it. What's the title of it? I should know the title of my own
You should
video.
know the title of your own video.
Lee Enfield.
This is back.
Lee Enfield. The title is Lee Enfield malfunctions at Forgotten Weapons, and there's more I can't see, but it's only a 2-minute video. 2 minutes of your life.
It's a lot of 2 minutes, though. That's a lot of shooting malfunctions.
Yeah, there's a lot of mouths.
Well, have we hit every topic, Danny?
We did.
Holy crap, we stayed on topic.
Reasonably well.
And we're less than 2 hours. Holy shit, guys. Way to go.
Holy moly, yep, but I still have the email to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
That you're going to read to me, you said?
Yeah, so it's about an M95. I'm trying to get the pictures over to Discord so that you can see this. Okay, here we go.
Is this going to be really terrible pictures? Okay. All
right, let me read you the email. Okay.
69.
The reason I'm laughing, everybody, is because it's a very poorly it's one of the very poorly done Nazi issued M95s that do not actually exist in this format.
Yeah. So the email's from Sean. Hey fellas, I wanted to get your opinion on my rifle. I've heard of the fakes, deep stampings all over the wood and metal. I have one with a single wood stamp and is light, fading as it should be. WAA4 says it was rearsenaled at BSM Berlin between 1937 and 1939. I have attached a few pics, thoughts, maybe real? Question mark. Thanks.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I can tell you why it's not real, and that is because the serial number that is underneath the wood stamp is on the right side, and also that circle mark underneath the serial number is Bulgarian. So that rifle stock is 100% been in Bulgaria, and given the overall look of the stock, I would bet it's never left Bulgaria. But also, the Germans never produced any M95, so they would not put any of these marks on their guns.
It's probably the best thing you've ever said.
That was very well stated.
Yeah,
They don't have WA marks. Those are production marks, guys. WA marks are production marks.
The more you know.
Now, there are ones that exist that are the rework marks, and I cannot remember what that code is, but it's not WA. But those are very, very, very rare. I think the guy that I know that I bought my Lee Navy from, who is probably one of the most knowledgeable straight pull guys and M95 guys in general, is that he's only seen one or two ever, and it's because people don't know, for simply because they're too rare.
You know, it'd be crazy as if there was a legit one that was then had the fake stamps added to it.
Oh god, that'd be awful.
The ones that are real, are they stamped on the metal or the wood? Just curious.
They're stamped on the wood.
Huh.
Now, I can't remember the code. It's not WA. It's something else. It just signifies that it was a rework, and that's how it was explained to me. Was WA codes are for production stamping inspection, and the other code is for rework, like Arsenal reworked stamping inspection, and that's how you would know. Now, M95s were certainly issued in the German army. It's just
everything was.
They were not produced, so all of these stamps are production stamps, so all the fake stamps are terrible like that.
Yeah. This looks just like a stamp that would be in a K98K stock, which I think is just what they were going for with it. They just gave it a single little, and it's just enough so if you knew like K98Ks, you know, oh, that's exactly where they put one. It looks just like that.
A little cartoony-ish too.
It's a little weird looking.
Yeah, the chicken.
And and Sean said it's light, but no, that's a little crisp.
The lettering is way too deep. It's way too obvious.
The wings on the chicken don't look right either.
Yeah, them chicken wings off. Does it not have a swastika underneath the eagle too?
No, it doesn't.
I don't see one.
Plain simple to me.
Yeah, it's a poor stamp. And what's funny though is that there's only one, because most of the time when they do just one, or when they start stamping it, they stamp it a bunch.
Yeah, typical K98 you see multiple. So
it's weird too that the eagle is not clutching the round part where the swastika normally is. The round is molded into the eagle.
It looks like it's pooping it or something.
Yeah, or it's got like a really fat ass.
It's a plump little chicken.
It kind of looks like big bird balls or something. Yeah. Bird scrotum.
Well, we're not making fun of the guy.
No.
I don't think.
Yeah, no. Sorry, Sean. I don't want to make you. Yeah,
I don't think that he bought it assuming it was one. I think he just noticed it later on.
Yeah, and at least it is just only one little stamp.
It doesn't detract. To me, it doesn't detract from the value of the rifle, because an M95-34, which is actually no, this is an M95-30 because this was a conversion by the Austrians. Now that I look at it. Oh wait, no. No.
That's a long rifle conversion.
No, the M95-30 is still the Stutzen, but it's the Austrian version, and then Bulgarian named theirs the M95-34.
Yeah, but wasn't that cut down from the long rifle because it has the rifle rear sight and the front sight?
Oh yeah, you can't tell with Bulgarian stuff, man. It was swapped and moved around so many times. There's
Fair
no way to
enough.
know. And the only way to know for sure is if the serials of the receiver and the barrel match. And by match, I mean are correctly roll stamped and not hand stamped. And then maybe it was the original rifle and barrel, but that doesn't mean that they didn't replace anything else on there, because I've seen there's all kinds of steadfast rules about the rear sight or the banded front sight. I've seen so many different configurations because really Bulgaria just started moving shit around and making it work.
Gotcha.
Really
Okay.
stupid question. Why is the band wrong? Because the loop on the band is on the right, and
Yeah, the band is on the wrong side because
Yeah.
it's actually a common mistake when people reassemble their guns, because it can
Okay.
actually be reassembled the wrong way.
Yeah,
Okay.
just flipped around.
It's pretty
Looks like it.
common. I've bought a few guns like that have had the sling swivel
Yeah.
on the wrong side.
One of mine was that
My
way.
K98. My K98 has the front band is upside down. Not the H band, but the actual sling band is upside down. So the numbers and the Waffenop are upside down on it.
So is
Oh,
this,
yeah.
is this Sean, as you said his name was?
Yep.
Sean, if you're listening, and I assume you are, you have a very nice example of an M95-34, very Bulgarian rework example, 8x56R. Looking at the original acceptance as a 1917, it's a more common year, but not I think actually 1917 is the most common year. But still, a good example, but not German issued.
I think that seals the deal.
I think
Most importantly, it will kick like a mule.
Oh, god dang it!
Insert cliche. Boom.
that bitch hurts.
That's one I hate. Every time I post mine, it's like, oh, those kick like a mule, and I'm just like, god dang it, guys.
It's either that or my fireball thrower.
That's
fireball shooter.
M44s.
Yeah, that's their thing.
Yeah, those every time anybody posts an M44, oh, it shoots fireballs. It's because you're shooting the full rifle round out of a short rifle. Of course, they're gonna have extra powder. That's the whole reason Germany switched the 8mm Mauser ammo.
What's the barrel length on the M95 Stützens?
19 inches, I think.
19. Okay. Yeah, that's about. Yeah, it's pretty. I think that's a legit carbine. That's definitely too short to be a
I think it's 19.
short rifle. It's odd. It's one of those guns that like it kind of there's like optical illusions with guns, and some guns are like bigger or smaller or whatever. They just look bigger or smaller. Like the 1917, it looks smaller than it is.
Yeah.
Really kind of big. This one,
it's hefty too. The 1917 is you don't realize how much it weighs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thick one.
Yeah, it's a thick boy.
Yeah.
It's got the big belly.
Thick with 2 C's.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 19.7 inch barrel, Danny. Danny, did you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then overall 39.5.
Okay. Yeah, like M94 Swedes and like the Spanish 1895 carbine, those are like just under 18 inches.
The G91/K88. Do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
Because mine, the rest of the rifles will sit in my safe, and my Car 88 sits on the front sight and will hang from my rifle rack. So it's even shorter.
19 and a quarter inches. The 3340.
They are shorter then.
Yeah, it's pretty short. Yeah, but yeah, I forgot it was that short.
Or we'll go the opposite direction with my M86, which is 31.7 inch barrel.
Yeah, that's big. I need to compare that, I guess,
Beefy
to the
boy.
Yeah, I thought like M95 or M91 Mosins are long. Like my Ross Mark III is long, but then I got this Danish Krag, and that is the longest. It's the longest.
Berthier is very long too.
Yeah, but this be longer.
What's funny was I thought the M86 would be longer for sure by a long amount, but the Berthier is right there in terms of length. The Berthier is a very long gun.
Yeah, it's the same as like the Lebel.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. It's essentially copying that, but I mean, it's a lot Yeah, like you don't realize just how big they are because it really didn't like to sit in the safe.
Yeah, that's nuts. And the 1917 really is like, it's in between short rifle and like long rifle length. It's in between. I don't know if it's short enough to be a short rifle. I don't know.
Aaron, how long is the Moniker, the long one?
31 inch or 31.7 inch barrel.
That's longer than the Snyder. I had to buy a special rifle case for the Snyder. It's 30.5 because it didn't fit in anything I had.
Yeah, I got that in a 2 boxes that were cut apart and taped together.
Yeah, me too. I know what you mean. They cut the top off of it and they put it on. Yep, they did the same thing with the Snyder. It's 30.5.
Yeah, looking at my 1917 compared to my 1903 right above it, it's about 3 inches longer than it. So just in comparison.
I have a question for you guys.
All right.
How much do gray ghosts go for these days?
Too much is the correct answer.
Just like those Black Widow Lugers, you know?
Oh, what about the American Lugers or whatever? What is that? The American Eagle or whatever?
Yeah,
those are expensive. Yeah.
But are those legit like variants or what the hell are those?
Commercial guns.
Yeah, those are legit. They were used for testing, so most of them were in 45 ACP. But
well, they made them in 30 too. They're commercial guns.
Yeah, they're commercial, and the military testing ones were in 45 and 9. But yeah, those are actual real ones. The American Eagle ones, commercial and military testing. But Gray Ghosts and Black Widows, don't even get me started.
No, but for real though, what do the French P-38s go for nowadays? I mean, this one's got like it's really gray, and it's got the aluminum grips or whatever the hell those gray grips are made out of.
It's hard to tell really how much they go for because the prices are so inflated on them because of the whole Gray Ghost lore to them. It's hard to really hammer.
Is it that or the new French love?
I think it's more the lore for the Gray Ghost, but yes, the French is starting to play a factor into it now. But I think I've always heard Gray Ghost, and I've always seen those prices $500, $600, $700 more than what they should be.
Yeah, I think a good P38, like a normal run-of-the-mill P38, is like $9,000 to $1,000, and then the Gray Ghost thing is like $12,000.
Yeah, I got my P38 for like $850, I think at the most, a couple years ago, and yeah, Gray Ghosts are in the easily $1,500 range.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing some Gunbroker sold listings. I just found one, an SVW45 French Army Gray Ghost that sold for $1,575.
Well, there was
August 15th, so just a month ago.
There was 2 different years of them, I thought. There's 45 and 46.
Yeah, they marked them 45 and 46, but the French captured, like, there was a whole bunch of other P-38s and guns at the factory. So you could have any maker or year P-38 that the French could have captured that were just happened to be being refurbished at the factory at the time. I think most common is, the SVW 45 and 46, but you can find any other ones. But my honey hole, they dropped the prices on some of their guns. I just noticed. I checked their website. I forgot how much they were asking for their French P-38, but they're asking $999 now.
Dang,
that's
darn honey hole.
Pretty good price for that.
Yeah, they dropped the price on they have a 1922, an FN 1922 there. They dropped the price to $349.
Wow.
And they have a 1910 and 380 pistol. That's $374.
Well, you should probably go pick those up because those would probably make some good videos too.
Yeah. Huh.
Especially for those. Is the 1922, is that German mark?
It's not. They had 2. I bought their German one.
Okay.
This one, I'm not sure what it is. Like the little nose cap extender thing on it. It's like a different color. It's like a reddish.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, those were often replaced. So
I can't remember. I didn't look if numbers matched or whatever on it.
At $375, I mean that's still hard to walk away from.
Yeah. Or yeah, $349 for the 1922. Let's see what tax that would be.
Even better. But that Gray Ghost, quote unquote, for what, $999? I mean, if anything, you can get it, make a good video on it, get some good research, and then resell it eventually. I mean, can't go wrong with that route.
Yeah. I was at a show like 6 months ago, and a friend of mine, he saw, I'm just going to keep calling it a gray ghost, a French captured grade, all grayed out, because there's the French made Manurins or whatever, however that's pronounced.
Yeah.
Man,
So like those are French P38s, but I'm talking about a different one. I feel like the gray ghost is like the best way. I'm just going to keep saying it even if it's not correct. But
It's that transitional one.
yeah, but he saw a gray ghost, and I think it was $1,200, and he like pulled out his money and bought it like right then. And I was like, oh, like really? Because you could get, you know, legit like nice German ones for quite a bit cheaper than that, you know.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh no.
Niche collecting, I guess. I mean, people will pay a price for such a small spot of history right there.
Yeah. And French stuff, so hot right now.
It is so hot.
45. All right. Well, I got 2 gun shows, and I might have a gun store to go to tomorrow. And I'll have to buy the wife some flowers
man.
or.
Let us know how it goes.
Well, I said, thanks for having everybody come on. We had a good time tonight, I think.
Absolutely.
hell yeah.
Yeah. It was a good one. It's good. Thanks for coming on,
We
Michael.
actually had a topic today. We kind of stayed on topic for the most part.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on there. I had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Always love talking about this stuff.
All right. Well, does anybody have anything else? Okay. Then I say, let's have a good rest of your weekend, I guess, because we're filming this on a Friday. Or whenever day you're listening to this, have a good rest of your day. And be sure to check out Milsurp World and all the other channels we mentioned on this podcast. Thank you.
Thanks. See you guys.
Thanks.